trans kids get killed all the time, right? I was looking at an article the other day about another trans kid who got killed. I was having a conversation with we won't say names, but with someone annoying in my life, and they were saying, "Oh, well, regardless of your politics, a kid got killed, and you should feel sad about that." And I do agree, like no matter what happens, if when trans kids get killed, you should feel upset about that. But I don't like the phrase regardless of your politics because I think your politics does matter and I think it's very important. Because hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Your politics determines whether or not that kid is able to have a happy, successful life, right? People like Donald Trump and the entire right wing base right now that actively endorse the harm that befalls trans kids are responsible for that harm, right? So I don't want to say regardless of your politics, because no, I think your politics is very important. Because if you're supporting people that are going to continue to make sure trans kids keep on getting hurt, then your politics matters. And it was very annoying because I do believe that there's amongst any like amongst people, right wing, left wing, they all have empathy, and I believe that many people are good. They just find themselves in the wrong spaces, and they look at things like the murder of trans kids. They look at things like deportation of legal immigrants to concentration camps. They see these as bad things because they are bad, terrible things. But they try to ignore politics when politics is so necessary in these moments, right? We like to talk about, oh well, we should feed the homeless, right? And we don't want them to go unsheltered. But when it actually comes to doing work, we go, oh well, I don't want to see a homeless shelter by me, right? Because then I have to look at that every single day when I am walking down the street. I have to walk past all these homeless people that are just trying to live their lives, but they always try to make it seem like it's not a thing that actually applies to them, right? They feel like they can go, "Oh, I think we should end homelessness." But when it comes down to it and they have to pitch in to actually help that, now it's too much. And I bring that connection back to the trans kids, which is, oh well, you care a whole lot about kids not being killed, right? We talk about like school shootings, we talk about all these things where it's like, oh, let's not bring our politics into it. It's just so sad that these things are happening, and we should just feel bad for all the people this harmed. And it's like, no, we have to talk about this. We have to talk about politics because the politics are the reason it's happening. Anyways, it's important to take action. I hate like quoting Martin Luther King right like this, but he's the goat. He's the G when it comes to civil rights. He is the civil rights guy, right? It's like trying to talk about Christianity without talking about Jesus. Martin Luther King talked about the white moderate, right, which is just our modern day liberal who sees the problems in front of them, and there are two scenarios. They either one go, "Oh, I'm going to be neutral. I'm not going to take a side." Because taking a side is really scary because taking a side means that you have to stand up for your beliefs. Taking a side means that you're opposing something, right? And it forces you to conflict with another idea. And that's a hard thing to start, right? Because then you run into people that hold the other opposite idea, and now you have to stand up for yourself and say, "No, that's wrong." And like human beings, we try to avoid confrontation wherever possible. So when we run into those situations where we have to go, no, that's wrong, we pull back. We pull back because we don't we don't want to have to fight with our family members. We don't want to have to fight with our friends because, like, who wants to do that? Fighting isn't fun. But at the same time, by remaining neutral, you're allowing all the crap that's going on in the world to continue going on. Hey y'all, if you're liking the video, this video was taken from one of my live streams. You can find the full VOD on my channel, and if you're enjoying the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe while you're there. Enjoy the video. And then the other side of this is the progressive liberal, which can almost be an oxymoron because progressive implies that you're actively trying to do something, versus liberals just kind of try to maintain the status quo while also occasionally fighting for more basic civil rights, like the civil rights that we generally all agree on. None of that radical progressive stuff, of course. But progressive liberals hold progressive beliefs, even like could be even radical at some points, but they sit and do nothing about it. I run into people often talking about, wow, this Trump guy really sucks, huh? Anyways, I would like to buy from every single thing that I own from Amazon, actually. And you know what? My point is that they say all these things, right? Because they know, hey, look at this is wrong. But then in practice, they don't change any part of their life to actually do something about it or to accommodate the people that need those accommodations. Not in my backyard. Because as soon as they have to make those accommodations, it might negatively affect them. They might have to see a homeless person. They might not have the convenience of 2-day delivery. That's where you end up with the moderate and the liberal. And don't get me wrong, like occasionally, I'm not going to say I hate liberals. Like, they definitely frustrate me, their lack of action. But occasionally, a ray of sun shines through and they get something done. When all the pieces fit together, then they get something done, and then they go, yes, we did that. And then they go back to returning to the status quo, which is continuing to support the upper class and really just ends up, okay, put it like this. I actually saw a very good reel describing this. And it was a glass, right? Imagine a glass of water, and this is the right? And they're pushing the glass, right? They're pushing the glass more and more and more. And the two options are, right, we were saying is the moderate and the liberal in this situation that really don't do much. The moderate will just watch the glass push off the table, and the liberal will go poke, 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 and it feels like, oh, well, the glass is slowing down a little bit, but it's still moving. And then you have, oh, the crazy radicals, right, who either have the option of helping the glass or actually pushing the glass back the other way. And that glass, the glass of water, is kind of where the status quo of politics is right now, is what we deem as acceptable, right? And, right now what we deem as acceptable is incredibly right wing, it falls under this conservative pro-business agenda. We don't actually care about the people that are monetarily suffering. Like, let's screw civil rights right now. I mean, let's not, but people go into their wallets and they can't survive till the next day, right? They're living paycheck by paycheck, but we have this distraction of identity politics that keeps us here not really focusing on, am I going to be able to survive the next day, right? Because we're more focused on, can trans people go to the bathrooms with cis women versus, can cis women afford to have a baby and work a full-time job and pay rent while getting absolutely zero support? And the answer in 99.999% of cases is no. I mean, people will manage it, right? But they don't manage it because, oh, they work really hard and they figure it out themselves. No, they manage it because they get help from others. And that's not a bad thing, right? We stigmatize helping others. Or not even helping others. No, actually we celebrate helping others, but we stigmatize getting that help because it's hard. I mean, I was talking before about I had a hard time getting access to therapy. Like for months I spoke to my friends about, I really should, but it's hard. And then, I make a few texts, a few calls, and a week later I have therapy. Now, like, yes, this is true. I'm very privileged that I'm able to get that. It wasn't a week. But regardless, I'm privileged that I'm able to get it at all. But many people aren't able to get those resources, but people aren't able to access resources partially because they don't know that it's there, and partially because they feel like they're unable to, right? Because it's hard, because I have to say I need help, and saying I need help is very difficult. And like I said, I don't blame them, but then the problem becomes is enough people start to not say, well, they need help, then that resource starts to fade away because it's like, oh, well, no one needs it. And, think about it this way, right? You have a store, right? And the store sells some really cheap goods. Okay, it's the cheapest stuff you could possibly get, but it's great, right? And nobody buys from the store because they're afraid, like, oh, everyone's gonna see that I'm buying from the cheap store. But then the cheap store goes out of business, and now nobody can buy from the cheap store anymore, right? I hope that made sense. Now, here's where we get to money, right? Those of you who have been paying attention, Liberation Day came up, right? We're free. We're finally free from these disgusting tariffs that all of these countries were putting on us, and we were being tariffed into the ground. We're gonna bring manufacturing back to America, and the egg prices are gonna be lowest egg prices they've ever been, lowest egg prices you've ever had. They've never been lower. Yeah, so go to a store. I love the word groceries. I love the word groceries. Groceries is such an interesting word to me. Yeah, so clearly Donald Trump has never been to a grocery store before, at least not before he started to become senile. Clearly that's showing in his economic policy, because I mean, just like I feel crazy, right? Because people will glaze this man into the ground, right? And I hate using the word glaze in a political sense, but like they're actually choking on it to another degree, okay? Like I've never seen this much choking on it, doing a trick, doing a backflip, sliding some frosting, some peanut butter, honey. Oh my god. Yo, if I wasn't talking about Donald Trump's dick right now, this is almost starting to sound tasty. The tricks that are being done in it are insane, right? Like we're into freedom fries territory of just like this absolute delusion about what is going on in front of us, right? Like egg prices are going up, everything's going up, and we're just like, oh well, who can we blame it on? We can blame it on the immigrants, right? But you can't even do that anymore because you're deporting them. Like it gets to a point where it's like, okay, so are you going to admit that you're not doing a good job? Like, are you just going to pretend like, oh wait, they weren't the problem? Because guess what? They weren't the problem. Crazy guys, what? I've been told that immigrants were the problem the entire time, and now everything I know is being crumbled apart. And like, you know, if you didn't know that, hey, I will always say, always, 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 if you don't know something and then you learn it and then you're a little bit better, I will never shame you for that, right? But, but, that does not mean you weren't fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Hey, we've all been stupid before. We can be stupid, right? And I can forgive you for being stupid, but you were still stupid. A spade is spade. That's it. Anyways, when you go to the store and everything costs more, it's like now we know why, right? And I can go all day like dogging on Trump, cuz and also like the ignorance of people to just look at what's in front of them and say, "Wait, maybe I made a mistake." But like, okay, don't get me wrong, it would not be nearly as bad if Kamala Harris won, right? Absolutely. Like I'm saying right now, I think Donald Trump was the wrong option. I think Kamala Harris had one of the best plans for the middle and lower classes as of recent years, right? R.I.P. Bernie. Love you, dog. Fly high. It's like he's still with us. Bernie's alive, y'all. Don't worry. I wouldn't play you like that. But the problem is that I feel like in the long run, right? I genuinely do think that like it would have made people's material conditions better, but I don't know if in the long run the Democratic National Convention would support enough like leftist progressive policy, right? Like I don't know if that's something they can really do just because of the current state it's in, right? Like they're so far gone with the corporate influence that is it even possible? I don't know. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please leave a like and subscribe. I hope to make some more in the future. And if you look at my channel, I got a few waiting there for you. As always, I love you all, and please have a fantastic night.